Hello everybody and welcome back to literally the last episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy I Dawn of Souls. This is the last part of the Whisperwind Cove Soul of Chaos dungeon, in which I recorded many months ago, and I've just been postponing the posting of it. Here's the last episode of the entire Let's Play that I did, finally. Yes, I've only been postponing it because I've been waiting until I was about to start my Let's Play for Final Fantasy VI. This is post-commentary, duh. And this is a blind run of the dungeon, and this place has 40 floors, and we're on floor 31 right here to begin this video off. Here we go. I'm just trying to cover all my bases as quickly as possible here. But yeah, literally this is going to be the last episode for the entire Let's Play. It's good times. Had fun with it. I might as well just use this whole entire video to just give my outro of the series. I mean, I'm sure I gave pretty good outro at the end of the actual main game. But I'm just talking about the game in general now. Yeah, Final Fantasy I's a great game. It really is. It's so great that I felt like burping just randomly like that. That was a pretty disgusting burp too, so even though you guys probably don't like hearing burps, just know that it punished me bad enough by giving me a terrible taste in my mouth. Yeah, I'm gonna take a sip of this water because that is terrible. Ugh. What do we got on this floor? Oh, this floor. Okay, this floor was pretty interesting actually. It's got a bunch of mages all over it, and some of them will actually be magic shops. So if you happen to miss any spells anywhere in the game, this would be a place you could buy them. I don't know why on earth you would be missing spells. Oh, that's right. In this one, you can only have 3 of each spell. So I guess if you wanted to switch spells, you could do that here. I almost forgot about that part, because there's 4 of each level spell in this game. And you can only hold 3 at a time. So if you needed to switch anything around, this would be your place. This deep into the dungeon. I also know that at this point in the dungeon, we'll be hitting a lot of new monsters that we have never seen before in any dungeons, and they only are available to fight in all these last floors of this dungeon. So strap on for that. Strap on, yeah. Strap it on, baby. Strap it on. Oh, Final Fantasy I, though. It's just trying to reflect a little bit on the game in a general sense. I don't know. So I say that and then I just freaking paused completely. But I'm trying to think exactly what to say about it. Obviously, 1 is a pretty great game for its time. The remakes that they've made, like this one, and the Final Fantasy I Anniversary Edition for the PSP, which is pretty much identical to this one. Graphics are a little more enhanced, but the game is pretty much identical. Oh man, oh god, I'm just trying to think of a good way to just sum it up, though. I don't know. It's a really good game. It was a good way to start off such a great series, a series that was born from this game. Because without this game, there would have never been the series. This game single-handedly spawned such a franchise, or not just the franchise of Final Fantasy, obviously, but it gave life to the company known as Square, which became Squaresoft and eventually has now merged together and become Square Enix as you know them today. That would never exist without this game, and this game was their last hope. Without it, you would have, let's pretend this game was never made, you would have never got such classic greats as the later Final Fantasy games like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. You would have never even, those games would not have existed without this one. And that's what I love about it the most. Just the fact that it's the original. It's hard to beat the original, it really is. Now, clearly, pretty much every succeeding Final Fantasy game after this one beat the shit out of it. In terms of almost everything, because this one it was so simplistic. And it's like with movies. Like movies, you always say the first one's the best. And most of the time, probably about 99% of the time, that is true. It's like the first one is the best. But then you think about it, and you're like, well, the second one is good, but the story is just not as good. or you know, just something random like that. The story's not as good, or the acting's not as good, or whatever. I'm just talking shit out of my ass now. But the point is, this one, in the original Final Fantasy game, the reason why it's not the best, it just originates everybody's stuff. The reason why it's not the best is simply because of its limitations from the console that it was made for. That's pretty much the reason why it's not getting as much recognition as it really deserves in terms of like how great it is. I mean, I'm saying all this and then I'm like, well, but it is the original. People do acknowledge it, because if you think about it, besides this one, what are the other ones people talk about? Well, Final Fantasy 4, Final Fantasy 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. I mean, everything that was in the 3D era, that's the ones people talk about. Those are the ones people remember. Final Fantasy 6 and 4, those people remember those because Super Nintendo was so great. But then you go back to Nintendo and you almost forget that America had this game. You almost forget. I'm sure there's an entire fan base of this game in America that just completely remembers this game, and the reason why they even had a Nintendo was this game. But to me, this game, I didn't even know this game existed until, I don't even know. I'm trying to think. When did I find out that this game even existed? I think I found out this game existed when I found out there's a game called Final Fantasy VII. Yeah. When I found out the name of the game, Final Fantasy VII, I'm like, this is Final Fantasy VII? I've never ever heard of Final Fantasy 1 through 6. It was just as bad as Mega Man X when I was like, what the fuck? What happened to Mega Man 7 through 10 or 7 through 9? It was just as bad as that. I was like, how the hell have I never heard of Final Fantasy anything? And yet here's 7. It's all in 3D and all amazing and shit. I was like, what the freak am I playing? This is amazing. But to come back to this game now, I saw Final Fantasy 1 not too long after I saw 7, because my brother actually decided himself that he wanted to try out Final Fantasy 1. And my uncle actually had the original Nintendo cartridge, so he borrowed it and he played it, and I actually watched most of my brother playing this original NES game. So it didn't look anything like this. It looked like this with NES graphics, but this is the same game. But just remembering that game, oh man. I mean, just remembering those times. Like, I did not play Final Fantasy 1 when it came out. It was just amazing to me that there was 6 other games. And then seeing that one, I'm like, okay, that's the first one. But where the hell are 2 through 6? I mean, little did I know that America didn't even know that there was a 2 through 6. They knew there was a 2 and a 3, but there's a 4, 5, and a 6. Where the hell are those games? Little did we know. We actually should have been like, where's 2, 5, and... Wait, which one am I counting? 2, 3, and 5. We should have been like, where's 2, 3, and 5? Because we actually did get 2 and 3, aka 4 and 6 on the Super Nintendo. And I didn't play those either because we didn't have a Super Nintendo. So you can imagine why I didn't know what Final Fantasy was until PlayStation. Because like I said, one of the first games I saw on the PlayStation, Final Fantasy 7, and it freaking blew my balls to Kingdom Come. And just saying that reminded me of good times and just how it led me to this game eventually. And the first time I ever played this game it wasn't this version of this game. The first time I played this game myself, I watched my brother play it on Nintendo. The first time I played this game, I think I played Final Fantasy Origins on the PlayStation. And then I didn't beat it though, now that I think about it. I don't think I beat it on PlayStation, but I still have the actual disc that I bought of Final Fantasy Origins, the one I first played. And then I think I played this one next on an emulator, and that's when I finally took the time to beat the entire game myself. And I think I did it twice, and even since then, just on this playthrough myself, this playthrough right here, I actually beat the game twice doing this Let's Play, because I beat the game and then I did the Let's Play right after. So, I mean, I've probably beaten Final Fantasy 1, I want to say at least 5 or 6 times now. I've also played and beaten the Anniversary Edition on PSP. Also pretty great version of this game. I mean, it's identical to this one, but the graphics are a lot more smooth and cool. And here I am rambling about just my history with Final Fantasy here in the very last video of the entire Let's Play. I guess I just couldn't help myself, because otherwise I'd probably be sitting here in silence just going, oh look, I just killed another one of these soldier guys. Oh look, I got some more items that I'm never going to use. Oh look, I'm walking through and I'm in the canoe all of a sudden and blah blah blah. The point of this floor was to kill the king and queen and then find your way out of here. I think the where is the staircase? Oh, there it is. I don't think you can go to the staircase till you beat the king and queen. You have to defeat them. The king and queen was just a mummy and a wizard. Pretty simple. Oh, and then there's this floor filled with beavers that get in your way. I remember this floor. And then what does this guy want you to do? He wants you to lead 9 to the room on the right and 1 to the room on the left. Oh, that's right. He wants you to... okay. This was a very strange puzzle. You just have to go up to each beaver, talk to it, and tell it to go right or left. And you just have to make sure you count. And I'm pretty sure the puzzle's always random. Like, it might tell you, you know, 4 on the left and 1 on the right, whatever. And so I was just, I was double checking on how to do the puzzle. And it was actually really simple. So you just talk to the beavers and do exactly what he said. Send 9, what was it, 9 to the left and, or what was it? 1 to the left and 9 to the right, I think it was. So yeah, that's exactly what I did. And it's that simple. You just make sure you count and do it. Don't miscount. And I think if you get it wrong, you might have to fight something. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that because I didn't do it wrong. I just made sure I did the puzzle right the first time. Because I just wanted to get the hell out. I get this dungeon over with. Can you imagine my fatigue at this point? I mean, I'm on floor, what, 38? I think I'm on right here. Floor 38. And of 40. And I've already been wandering through this place for what? Let's just say this is about the 2-hour mark. I'm just guessing. You can imagine my fatigue of this place, and I just want to be done. And then I get to a floor like this. Floor 39. Here I am 1 floor away from the final floor in this entire dungeon, ready to take on the last boss from Final Fantasy VI. And then, I come to find out, I talk to these flame things. And what happens? Oh, never mind. I guess I just... Oh, nothing happens? You just talk to them? Oh, no, that's not true. I know when you talk to some of them, some stuff's gonna happen. But a lot of these are just previous bosses you fought in the game. Like the clay golem, he was a boss at some point. The skeleton... Oh, maybe they're not... Maybe they're not bosses. They're just random enemies? I thought they were all bosses, though. Let's just see. The Minotaur? Was the Minotaur a boss? I don't know. Each one of these things is just a different enemy. I'm not sure if you have to talk to all of them, though. But apparently I just took the time to talk to all of them. I guess they are just random enemies. But I know eventually random enemies means eventually one of them is going to want to fight you. Most of them are so weak sauce they don't want to fight you, so they just disappear. Like the Goblin Guard. Yeah. You get my meaning? They like to talk. Goblins are like the evil dwarves. They have the same accent as a dwarf, but they are the evil version. They're not the ones that say lolly ho. They're the ones that say fuck yo. Me try, but me not learn. Poor ogres can't learn magic. So sad. There you go. You, give me back my treasure. Here we go. The first boss we run into is Ass Toast. Remember Ass Toast? Yeah, I do. Remember how easy he was? Well, well, look how easy he is now. He's just as easy as he ever was. 1 hit, dead. Goes down with the 1-hitter quitter, bruh. Yeah, at first I thought that battle was going to be like a rematch with Ass Toast, and he's 20 times stronger. But then, come to find out, is just the original Ass Toast wanted a rematch, and we killed him in 1 hit, just like we would have did if we fought him again in regular time, not in a weird dungeon. Now I'm pretty sure another one of these things is going to want to fight us before we leave, because there's no way in hell that the rest of this video is just the final boss. Because I know the final boss does not take me 10 minutes to fight. There's no way. There's no way. Pisco Demon. Pisco demons piss me off. One of these is a boss, right? The Dark Wizard. Are you a fight? Do you want to fight me? No? Which one of you wants to fight me? None of you? Hillgigas? You don't want to fight me either? Fine. What about you? Vampire? Ah, here he is, the vampire. We fought the vampire back in the Earth place, the Cave of the Earth, I think it was called. And he's still just as weak as ever, one-hitter quitter. And then Regis can say goodbye. Or no, not Regis. The what's her name? The lady from fucking A. What is it? Why am I blanking on the show? You are the weakest link. Goodbye. That. The weakest link. I miss that show. I really do. I guess the rest of this video is me fighting the last boss. I guess the last boss is harder than I thought. Or than I remember, at least. Yeah, so this is the last boss in the entire dungeon, guys. Can you guess which one it is from Final Fantasy VI? I'll give you one last chance. What could it be? What could it be? It'll be on the test next time. So you better make sure you remember it once you see it. Get ready for it. Save it up and get ready for it. Here it comes. Gra. Yeah, long conversation. It's the Death Gaze. The battle with the boss that you fight when you're flying around on your airship in Final Fantasy VI. I believe you randomly encounter him in Final Fantasy VI as you're wandering around, or not wandering around, but flying around in the sky. Because I don't think flying there's random battles in Final Fantasy VI, but occasionally you'll run into a random battle against Death Gaze, and the first time you run into it, it'll scare the living shit out of you. But once you know it can happen, you don't worry about it. But anyways, compared to fighting Shinru and Omega in the last dungeon, this guy nowhere near as scary. Clearly he has a lot more HP, otherwise the rest of this episode would not last me this much longer. Because I don't know why. Wow. I'm looking at my timer, that's all, and I'm realizing that there's still a lot left to this video, and I don't know why. You're telling me I gotta talk over this Death Gaze battle for the next 5, 10, 8 minutes? Whatever, I can't count. I can do math, I swear it. Well, anyways, this boss battle from Final Fantasy VI, I think when you beat him in that game, he gives you one of the Espers. I mean, he's not an Esper himself, but I think he gives you the Magicite for one of them. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's why you want to fight him, because otherwise you won't get all the Espers in the game. Now, Final Fantasy VI, you want to get all them Espers. You do. You do. Part of the completion of Final Fantasy VI is to get all them Espers. Who doesn't want all them Espers? And don't worry, I'll be getting to Espers and all the greatness that has. Let's Play Final Fantasy VI is now on the horizon. It definitely is. Otherwise, this video and this commentary would not be, you would not be witness to this yet if Final Fantasy VI was not on the horizon. Just know this. Just know this. Take a gander at this video and you will know. I feel like I should be singing or something. I don't know what else to say. I really don't. Final Fantasy 1 really doesn't have a lot of strategy because the battle system is so simple. It's just you either attack or you do Holy and Flare. I think those are your choices. There's no way to. There's no other possible strategy you could use. There really isn't. I mean, I could do some buffs, I guess, but the buffs would really not accomplish anything amazing. Heal when you need it and use the same 2 spells over and over again. That's pretty much the strategy here, and there's not really anything else you should do yeah. I mean, like if you're watching this as a walkthrough and you're using this to beat this dungeon yourself, and you want a tip to beat Death Gaze, if you literally need a tip how to fight the bosses in these dungeons, are you not playing this game? Like, seriously, this game has very little strategy in the battles. The diversity in the movesets for all your characters is very small. I mean, black mages have black magic, that's all they do. They can't attack for shit, so use black magic every turn. That's pretty much your goal. White mage is pretty much the same thing. Use a white magic every turn, whether you heal or use holy to attack, do something. And then the monk, aka the master, and the knight up there, all they can do is attack or use an item. Those are their choices. They don't really get another choice. It's like, how much strategy could you possibly put into this game? Well, not a whole lot. That's why the other Final Fantasies are better, if I didn't already make a case of why the other Final Fantasies are better. More in-depth stuff, just more in-depth everything, which makes... That's why, even though the original is the original, it's nowhere near the best. It's hard to say that about a game as good as this one, but it's just true. The reason why it's not the best in the series is because the other ones improve everything. Like, it's one thing to improve one thing, but not everything, but other entries in this series improve everything. From the battle system, to the story, to the characters, to just everything. And obviously graphics and all that fun stuff. But that doesn't make this game not great. Never take anything away from the original. This game is still great. Gotta take into account limitations and all that, like I've already stated, and just how great it is. And that's my last words on Final Fantasy 1. Kaput. That's it. So I'm just gonna wait till this battle is over, and then we can sign out. And goddamn, Deathgaze has a lot of HP. I guess if I could have found a way to deal out more damage, I would have, but I just kept on smashing away, healing as needed. I just kept smashing with the same strategy. Oh god. Is this really how I beat him? Is there not a better way? God damn. Couldn't I have looked up a better strategy to fight this guy? No. Yeah. Don't look up a strategy for a boss if you've never ever tried it before. Come on, be a man and try it with your own strategy first. If your strategy doesn't work, then you try something else. Never give up on your strategy until you find out it doesn't work. That should be true to any RPGer out there. Find your own strategy, use it till it don't work no more, and then change it up to make more sense. That's been my philosophy forever in a Final Fantasy, or just any RPG for that matter. So there's some words of wisdom for you for any RPGer out there who's watching this particular episode of this game. If you wanna, like, I'm not even gonna restate it. You heard me. Just come up with your own goddamn strategy. Don't use guides. Play the game. The first playthrough of any RPG should be no guide at all. The only reason to use the guide is if you get stuck and you literally cannot figure out what the hell to do for, like, if you seriously try to figure it out for hours and hours upon end, fine, look it up. You're wasting your time. But if you're just lazy and you like been looking for 10 minutes and you're just like, fuck, I can't figure this out, try harder or stop playing. Or maybe RPGs just aren't for you. Because if you're playing RPGs with a guide as soon as you start playing, what's wrong with you? And this is now turned into hate for people who play RPGs who are not into RPGs. I shouldn't go there. I really shouldn't. But it is true. Just don't use guides, guys. Use a guide only if you, like, on a second playthrough, use a guide all you want. Feel free. Feel free to copy somebody exactly just to see how their game went. See how you do the same thing. See how you fare with their strategy. Whatever. Make sure you don't miss anything. Since you missed a bunch of stuff you didn't want to miss the second time through, fine. Use a guide all you want. But it's just like, the reason for a guide is if you literally get stuck. Otherwise, a guide is basically spoilers to the game. So what the hell, man? Who likes spoilers? Ugh. Whatever. Finally, Deathgaze falls. Fucking 10-minute battle later. For beating him, you get the Lightbringer, which is just another sword that's crappy and I'll never use it. It's definitely not better than Ragnarok, which kicks the most ass in the entire game. Look at that. The light sword can't even be equipped by... Look at that. I think I went through the whole thing and it wasn't even on the list. Can't even be equipped by a knight. So I was like, what's the point then? What is the point? I don't know, guys. I don't know. Alright, so that concludes my entire Let's Play of Final Fantasy 1. I did everything from the whole game that I could do, and all of the Soul of Chaos extra after post-dungeon crap that you could possibly do, except for the fact that I didn't get every single special item, but who gives a shit, right? So that being said, I will see you guys on whatever LP you guys are watching on by me, and I hope you guys enjoyed this entire LP. I've probably already said this in the last episode of the main game, but that's cool. Oh, and the whole point of beating this dungeon is you get the ultimate weapon, so huzzah! Anyways, see you guys later. Peace.